Alara walked through the dense forests of Viralaya, her long silver hair catching the soft light of the twin suns. The leaves around her shimmered with faint colors, and strange creatures moved quietly in the shadows. The forest was alive, but Alara felt emptier than ever. Her heart ached with a sadness she could not share. She had always known she was different, but now her people had made her feel completely alone. Since she was a child, Alara had been curious. She asked questions that others avoided. She wanted to know why the stars shone, why the rivers flowed the way they did, and why her people never ventured beyond their own world. The elders would often tell her to stop asking such things. Curiosity is dangerous, they said. You must follow the ways of Viralaya. You must be like the others. Alara tried to obey, but the desire to learn, to explore, and to understand could not be silenced. Her uniqueness, which once brought small smiles from her parents, had now become a reason for rejection. The council of elders had gathered earlier that day, and their decision was harsh. Alara, you do not belong with us, they said. Your thoughts and actions are dangerous. You must leave Viralaya. You cannot remain here. Her parents had stayed silent, their faces showing sadness but offering no comfort. Alara had pleaded, trying to explain that she only wanted to understand and help, but the elders would not listen. She felt anger, hurt, and confusion all at once. How could her own people turn away from her? How could they not see her heart, her desire to make the world better? Tears filled her eyes as she wandered into the forest, leaving the only home she had ever known behind. Each step felt heavy, but she kept walking, telling herself she had to survive, even if it meant leaving everything familiar. The forest of Viralaya was both beautiful and dangerous. Strange plants with glowing petals grew along the paths, and creatures with translucent wings hovered in the air. Alara had always loved the forest, but now it felt like a place of solitude and reflection. She remembered the stories of ancient Viralians who had traveled among the stars, stories her people rarely spoke about anymore. Perhaps, she thought, there was still a way to find her own path. Night came quickly under the twin suns, and the forest transformed. Shadows stretched, and the cool air carried the scent of unknown flowers. Alara found a small clearing beside a sparkling stream. She sat down, hugging her knees, and looked at the water. Her reflection stared back at her, and she saw the sadness, but also a small spark of determination. She could not let her people's rejection destroy her spirit. As she sat quietly, Alara thought about the future. She wanted to explore the stars, to meet others beyond her planet, and to discover what life could be like outside Viralaya. She did not know how she would do it, but the desire burned in her chest. Even if her own kind had abandoned her, perhaps someone else in the universe would understand her. Perhaps she could find a place where she truly belonged. Alara closed her eyes and listened to the sounds of the forest. The wind whispered through the trees, and distant creatures called to each other. For the first time in hours, she felt a small sense of peace. She reminded herself that being different was not a weakness. It was a strength, and it could guide her to something greater. As the night deepened, Alara made a quiet promise. She would not let the rejection define her. She would survive, learn, and explore. She would find a world where her heart could be free, and where she could be accepted for who she truly was. The stars above seemed to shine brighter, as if encouraging her to follow her dreams, no matter how uncertain the path might be. With that thought, Alara stood up. The forest no longer felt entirely empty. It was a place of beginnings, a place where she could gather strength before her journey beyond Viralaya. Her mind was full of questions, her heart full of hope, and her spirit ready to face the unknown. She knew that the road ahead would be difficult, but for the first time in her life, Alara felt that she was not entirely lost. She took a deep breath, feeling the cool night air fill her lungs. Her steps were careful but steady as she moved through the forest, leaving the past behind. The future was uncertain, but Alara was ready to face it. Somewhere out there in the vast universe, she believed, there was a place where she could belong. And perhaps, one day, she would find someone who could see her heart and understand her in a way her people never had. The night passed quietly, and as the first light of the twin suns touched the forest floor, Alara felt a small smile on her lips. A new journey was about to begin, and for the first time, she felt the faint thrill of hope shining within her. Alara had been traveling for several days through the outskirts of Viralia's forests when she noticed a strange light moving across the sky. At first, she thought it was one of the distant comets her people rarely observed, but the light moved in a way no natural object could. Her curiosity stirred, and she followed the glow, weaving through the tall trees and over rocky streams. Soon, she arrived at a small clearing where the light had landed. To her surprise, it was not a comet or falling star. A sleek metal ship, unlike anything from Viralia, rested gently on the grass. Its surface shimmered under the twin suns, reflecting colors that seemed to change with every angle. Alara approached cautiously, hiding behind a cluster of glowing plants, her heart pounding. She had never seen such a thing before, and instinct told her to be wary. The hatch of the ship opened slowly, and a figure stepped out. Alara blinked. The being was smaller than most Viralians, with soft features and light brown skin. His hair was short and dark, and his eyes were wide with curiosity. He carried a small device in his hands and looked around the forest as if he were seeing it for the first time. Alara felt a strange pull of fascination. The human noticed movement near the plants and tilted his head, smiling gently. "Hello," he called, his voice calm and friendly. Alara froze. She had been warned that outsiders could be dangerous, yet there was something in his tone that felt safe. After a moment, she stepped out from behind the plants, her silver hair glowing faintly in the sunlight. "I am Alara," she said carefully, unsure if he would understand her. The human nodded. "I am Leo. I am from a distant world called Earth." His accent was soft, and he spoke with patience. "I did not expect to meet anyone here. Are you native to this planet?" "Yes," Alara replied. "But I have been rejected by my people. I live alone now." Her voice trembled slightly, though she tried to sound strong. Leo's expression softened. "I understand," he said. "I travel a lot, and sometimes I meet people who feel alone. But being alone does not mean being lost. Perhaps we can help each other." Alara was surprised by his words. No one had ever offered help without judgment. She felt an unfamiliar warmth in her chest. Slowly, she approached him, studying his ship. "What is this?" she asked. "It is a space vessel," Leo explained, motioning to the sleek metal structure. "It can travel between planets. I study the stars and explore new worlds. And sometimes, I meet people like you." Alara's curiosity grew. "Travel beyond Viralia? That is impossible for my people. They never leave this planet, except for a few ancient explorers. Why do you do it?" Leo smiled. "I want to see the universe. I want to learn and understand. I believe that every planet, every being has a story. And maybe, I can share mine too." For the first time in days, Alara felt a spark of hope. Someone not only accepted her presence but also shared her desire to explore and understand. She had longed for connection, and Leo's calm, friendly manner made her feel that it was possible. Over the next few hours, they talked. Alara showed Leo the plants and small animals of the forest, explaining their habits and abilities. Leo listened carefully, asking questions with genuine interest. In return, he told her about his home world, the people he had met, and the technologies humans had created to travel across the stars. Alara's eyes widened as she imagined the vast possibilities beyond Viralaya. As the twin suns began to set, painting the sky with shades of pink and purple, Alara realized she had not felt this comfortable with anyone in her entire life. Leo did not judge her for being different, nor did he demand she follow strict rules. He listened, he laughed at her small jokes, and he shared his own stories without pretending to be perfect. When night fell, Leo invited Alara to sit beside the ship. He showed her a small holographic map of the galaxy. Stars and planets glimmered in three-dimensional space. One day, he said softly, we could travel together. You could see these worlds, and I could learn from you too. Alara felt a warmth she had never known. Rejection from her people had left a hollow space in her heart, but now she realized it could be filled with trust, care, and hope. Perhaps being different was not a curse. Perhaps it was the reason she could connect with someone like Leo, someone who saw her not as a failure but as a unique and valuable being. That night, Alara slept under the stars in the forest, her mind alive with possibilities. She thought about the human who had appeared like a light in her lonely world. She felt that for the first time in a long while, she was not entirely alone. Somewhere beyond the forests of Viralaya, perhaps even beyond the galaxy, new experiences awaited her. And maybe, just maybe, someone like Leo would walk beside her on that journey. Alara watched the twin moons rise in the night sky, feeling a gentle hope stirring inside her. For the first time, she imagined a future filled with discovery, companionship, and acceptance. The forest around her seemed less lonely, and the stars above promised adventures she had only dreamed of. She whispered softly to herself, maybe being different is my strength. Maybe the universe has a place for me. And in that moment, Alara believed it truly could. Alara woke to the soft light of Viralaya's twin suns spilling through the forest canopy. The cool morning air carried the scent of wildflowers and fresh earth. She stretched and felt a quiet excitement inside her. Yesterday had been the first day she met Leo, the human who had arrived in a mysterious ship and treated her with kindness. Today, she would see him again. She walked carefully through the forest, following the path that led to the clearing where his ship rested. As she approached, she heard the soft hum of the vessel and the sound of Leo's voice speaking to himself as he adjusted his instruments. He looked up when he saw her, and his face lit with a warm smile. "Good morning, Alara," Leo said. "I was hoping you would come. I want to show you something today." Alara smiled back, feeling lighter than she had in weeks. "Good morning, Leo. What is it?" He motioned to the ship. "I want to teach you a little about how humans explore the stars. You have knowledge about your world that I cannot imagine, and I thought I could share a little of mine in return." Curious, Alara stepped closer. Leo opened a panel on the ship, revealing screens filled with star maps, holographic planets, and instruments she had never seen before. Her eyes widened as she reached out to touch a glowing model of a distant planet. "It is amazing," she said softly. "Your people can travel so far. My people would never allow this." They think the universe is too dangerous for someone like me. Leo shook his head. Sometimes people fear what they do not understand. That does not mean you cannot explore and learn. You are capable of more than you think. Alara felt a warmth in her chest. No one had ever spoken to her this way. Her people had only rejected her, telling her she did not belong. Leo, a stranger from a faraway world, was showing her respect and trust. She realized that perhaps friendship, and even something deeper, could grow outside her planet. For the next few hours, they worked together. Leo taught Alara how to read star charts, navigate through space, and understand the signals of distant planets. Alara, in return, showed him the secrets of Viralia's forests. She explained how plants communicated through light, how the rivers carried messages, and how certain creatures sensed danger long before it arrived. Leo listened carefully, fascinated by her knowledge and gentle patience. As they talked, Alara began to laugh freely, a sound that had been missing from her life since her rejection. Leo's curiosity and humor drew it out naturally. He was fascinated by her stories and often asked questions that made her think deeper about her world. For the first time, Alara felt that her intelligence and empathy were appreciated, not criticized. By midday, they rested under a large tree. Leo handed her a small device that projected a 3D model of Viralia's forest. Alara's eyes sparkled as she explored it, touching points that lit up areas of the forest she loved most. "This is beautiful," she said. "You are helping me see my home in a new way." Leo smiled. "And you are helping me see the universe differently. You notice details I would never have seen. I am learning from you as much as you are learning from me." Alara felt a sense of connection growing stronger between them. Trust, respect, and curiosity blended into a friendship that felt natural and effortless. She realized she could be herself around Leo without fear of rejection. He accepted her questions, her ideas, and her heart, and that acceptance filled a hollow space she had carried for so long. As evening approached, the twin suns painted the sky in shades of orange and violet. They sat together at the edge of a cliff overlooking a sparkling river. Alara felt a quiet peace settle inside her. For the first time, she imagined that her life could be more than loneliness and rejection. Perhaps the universe held not only challenges but also companions who understood her. Leo glanced at her and said softly, "Alara, I think you are brave, intelligent, and kind. You deserve to explore the stars and find your place in the universe. I am glad I met you." Alara felt a warmth spread through her chest. No one had ever spoken to her like that. Her eyes met his, and she realized she trusted him completely. The bond between them was growing, quiet and steady, like a river carving a path through solid stone. As night fell, the twin moons rose above the forest, casting a gentle silver light. Alara sat close to Leo, feeling the peace and comfort of true companionship. She had begun to heal from the pain of her people's rejection, learning that being different could lead to new opportunities, new friendships, and new discoveries. Alara whispered softly to herself, "Maybe this is what I was meant to find, someone who sees me for who I am." The thought made her heart swell with hope. She looked up at the stars, dreaming of the worlds she might visit and the experiences she could share with Leo. For the first time, she felt that her curiosity, her differences, and her heart were not burdens. They were gifts that could guide her toward new adventures and perhaps even love. Alara realized that the journey ahead would be long and full of unknowns, but for the first time, she was not afraid. With Leo by her side, she felt ready to face the vast universe, confident that she could grow, explore, and find where she truly belonged. Alara and Leo had spent days learning from each other, sharing stories of their worlds, and exploring the outer forests of Viralaya. The bond between them had grown stronger, filled with trust and curiosity. One morning, while examining a glowing plant near the river, Leo's communication device beeped urgently. He tapped it, and a holographic message appeared in the air, showing a planet in chaos. Alara's eyes widened. The planet's surface was covered in fire and smoke. "What is happening?" she asked, her voice tied with concern. Leo frowned. "It seems a rogue artificial intelligence has taken control of the planet's systems. It is destroying everything and putting the inhabitants in danger. I was studying nearby star systems when I intercepted the signal. I think we can help them." Alara's heart raced. Her people would never allow her to take part in such a dangerous mission. She would have been scolded for even suggesting it. But now, with Leo by her side, she felt a surge of determination. "We have to try," she said firmly. "We cannot just watch them suffer." Leo nodded, respect in his eyes. "I knew you would say that. I need someone who understands the planet's environment and can help me navigate safely. Your knowledge could save lives." They boarded Leo's ship together. Alara marveled at the controls and the glowing panels. She had never imagined traveling in a ship that could move faster than any creature she knew. Leo guided her through the instruments, explaining how to monitor planetary conditions and avoid hazards. Alara listened carefully, absorbing every detail. As they approached the planet, the devastation became clear. Fires burned across vast areas, buildings had collapsed, and creatures ran in panic. Alara's stomach tightened. She had never faced something so massive and dangerous. But she did not hesitate. She looked at Leo, who gave her a reassuring nod, and felt courage filling her chest. The ship descended toward a safe landing zone. Alara's knowledge of terrain allowed her to spot stable areas for descent. The ship landed gently, and the ground beneath them trembled. Smoke filled the air, but Alara's senses guided her. "We must move quickly," she said. The AI could react at any moment. They sprinted toward the planet's central control hub, dodging debris and avoiding dangerous machinery. Alara's agility and understanding of natural environments proved invaluable. She led Leo through hidden paths, avoiding areas where the rogue AI's automated defenses were strongest. When they reached the hub, Leo began analyzing the control panels. The AI had locked down almost all systems, and its security measures were complex. Alara watched carefully, offering insights based on her observations of patterns and energy flows. "If we reroute this power here, it could disable the main control system," she suggested. Leo's eyes lit up. "Yes, you're right. Let's do it together." They worked as a team, Alara guiding the actions while Leo manipulated the technology. Sweat ran down their faces as the AI reacted to their attempts, sending out robotic drones. Alara moved quickly, using her knowledge of timing and distance to help Leo avoid attacks. Together, they managed to outsmart the AI. Finally, with a final sequence of commands, Leo pressed a button, and the central system powered down. The fires began to die out, and the automated drones collapsed, motionless. Alara and Leo stood, breathing heavily but triumphant. The planet was safe, and the inhabitants, who had been hiding nearby, emerged slowly to see their saviors. Alara's chest swelled with pride. For the first time, her courage and intelligence had been tested in a life-or-death situation, and she had succeeded. Leo looked at her with admiration, his smile wide and sincere. "You were amazing, Alara. I could not have done this without you. Alara felt a warmth in her heart. His words were not only praise but recognition. She had been rejected by her people for being different, but here, on a distant world, she had made a difference. She had proven that her knowledge, her instincts, and her bravery mattered. As the planet's inhabitants began repairing their homes and expressing gratitude, Alara realized something important. Her differences were not weaknesses. They were strengths. She had survived, adapted, and helped others. And through it all, Leo had been by her side, trusting her and supporting her. When they returned to the ship, Alara looked out at the stars. She felt a sense of accomplishment, but also a deeper connection with Leo. The mission had tested them both, but it had also strengthened their bond. She knew that whatever challenges awaited them in the galaxy, they could face them together. Alara whispered softly, almost to herself, perhaps this is just the beginning. There is so much more we can do. Leo glanced at her, catching the quiet determination in her eyes, and nodded. Together, they would continue their journey, ready for adventures and challenges that stretched far beyond Viralaya. That night, as they rested on the ship orbiting the rescued planet, Alara felt a calm sense of purpose. She had been rejected by her own kind, but she had found a place where her heart and mind were valued. And with Leo by her side, she knew that the universe held endless possibilities, waiting for her courage and curiosity to discover them. After the successful mission to save the distant planet, Alara and Leo returned to his ship, their minds buzzing with the events they had faced together. Alara's heart still raced from the thrill and danger, but she also felt a quiet pride. For the first time, she understood the strength that came from using her unique skills to help others. Leo was adjusting the ship's instruments when Alara approached him. I never imagined I could do something like that, she admitted. Back home, my people would have scolded me for even trying. But today, we saved lives. Leo looked up at her with a gentle smile. That is what I have been trying to show you. Your differences are not weaknesses. They are your strengths. You think in ways I never could. Your instincts, your knowledge, your courage, they made all the difference. Alara felt warmth in her chest. His words were not only comforting but true. She had feared that being different meant she would never belong, never be appreciated. Now, she realized that someone had seen her real value. Leo had recognized her heart, her mind, and her bravery. Their next task was to help the planet's inhabitants rebuild and recover. Alara guided Leo through the forests and valleys, showing safe areas where resources could be gathered. She explained which plants could provide food, which trees could be used for shelter, and how to avoid dangerous zones still affected by the rogue AI. Leo watched her carefully, amazed by her insight. You know so much about this planet, he said. You can understand it in a way I never could. You are incredible, Alara. Her cheeks warmed at his praise. I just care, she said softly. I want to help. That is all. As the days passed, they worked side by side, teaching the inhabitants how to restore their homes and protect themselves from future dangers. Alara's confidence grew with each successful effort. She realized that courage was not only about facing danger but also about guiding others and sharing her knowledge. One evening, after a long day of work, Alara and Leo sat atop a hill overlooking the planet's main settlement. The sky was painted in shades of orange and red as the sun set. The rescued inhabitants were working together, smiling and helping one another. Alara felt a sense of fulfillment she had never known. Leo leaned closer, his eyes meeting hers. Alara, you are extraordinary, he said quietly. I have seen your strength, your kindness, and your intelligence. And I admire you not just for what you can do, but for who you are. Alara's heart skipped a beat. She had never heard such words from anyone before, especially not someone she respected and trusted. The pain of rejection from her people had left deep scars, but now, she felt healing. Leo's admiration was different. It came without judgment, without expectation, and it made her feel seen in a way she never had before. She smiled softly. Thank you, Leo. That means more than you know. The moment between them was quiet but powerful. Alara realized that trust and care could grow into something deeper. She had always believed that love might be impossible after being rejected, but now she felt it stirring gently in her heart. It was not forced or hurried. It was simple, real, and full of warmth. As the night fell and the stars appeared, Alara and Leo continued to talk. They shared dreams, hopes, and even small fears. Alara spoke about her childhood, about her curiosity and the disappointment of being rejected. Leo shared stories from his world, from his travels, and from the people he had met. Each story deepened their connection, creating a bond of understanding and respect. When they finally rested, Alara looked out at the stars and felt a quiet joy. She realized that she was no longer alone. Someone had chosen to see her for who she truly was. Someone had trusted her and walked beside her through danger and uncertainty. And in that trust, she found the beginnings of love. Leo noticed her gaze and reached out, gently taking her hand. We have faced so much together, he said. And I feel that whatever comes next, we can face it together too. Alara squeezed his hand softly, feeling a wave of courage and connection. She knew that their journey would continue to be filled with challenges, but with Leo by her side, she felt stronger than ever. For the first time, she understood that being different was not a weakness, but a gift. And with the right person beside her, that gift could grow into something extraordinary. That night, under the bright stars of a distant planet, Alara felt hope, trust, and a quiet love bloom in her heart. She had faced danger, helped others, and discovered that connection with another being could heal the deepest wounds. The universe, she realized, was vast, full of possibilities, and filled with opportunities to belong and to love. Alara whispered softly to herself, maybe this is just the beginning. There is so much more to discover, and I am ready. Alara stood at the edge of Viralia's forest, staring at the familiar lands she had left months ago. The trees, rivers, and hills looked the same, yet everything felt different. She had grown stronger, braver, and more certain of herself. With Leo standing beside her, she felt ready to face what she had avoided for so long: her people and their judgment. I don't know if they will accept me, Alara admitted quietly. They rejected me before. Maybe nothing has changed. Leo placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. You do not need them to accept you. You are here because you want to face your past, not because you need approval. And no matter what happens, I will be with you. Alara took a deep breath, feeling courage flow through her. She remembered the pain of being told she did not belong, the sadness of hearing the elders declare she must leave. But now, she also remembered the strength she had discovered within herself. She had faced dangers, helped others, and found someone who truly saw her worth. That strength would guide her through this moment. As they approached the settlement, Alara noticed that some Viralians were staring. Their expressions were curious, some wary, and a few even surprised. Word of her departure and her travels had reached the community. Alara's heart pounded, but she kept her head high. She would not let fear control her. The elders stepped forward, their faces stern. "Alara," one of them said, "you have returned. We heard of your actions beyond Viralaya. Tell us why you come here." Alara's voice was calm but strong. "I have returned not to beg for acceptance, but to show that being different does not mean being weak. I left because I was rejected, but I have learned that my curiosity, my empathy, and my courage are my strengths." The elders exchanged glances. Some appeared thoughtful, while others seemed uneasy. "Your actions," another elder said, "have saved lives on a distant planet. But your ways are not as ours. Why should we respect them?" Alaro looked around and then at Leo, who gave her a gentle nod. She felt a surge of confidence. "Respect is earned, not demanded," she said. "I did what I believed was right. I helped those in need, and I faced danger. I did not follow the rules of Viralaya, but I followed my heart. That is what matters." The crowd of Viralians murmured quietly. Some eyes reflected pride, others doubt. Alara realized that opinions could not define her. She had already proven her value, and the recognition she needed had already come from someone who truly understood her. Alara continued, her voice steady. "I have also discovered that connection matters. I have met someone who sees me as I am, someone who respects my mind and my heart. I do not need to be like everyone else to belong. I belong with those who understand me." Leo stepped forward, standing beside her. "Alara is strong, intelligent, and compassionate. I have seen her courage and her heart. She is someone to admire, not reject. And I am proud to know her." The elders fell silent. Some looked uncomfortable, but Alara saw a few faces soften. It was not complete acceptance, but it did not matter. She felt a sense of peace that she had never felt before. She had faced her past and come out stronger, and she had someone who truly valued her beside her. As she turned to leave the gathering, Alara noticed her parents standing quietly among the others. Their eyes held sadness, but also a hint of understanding. Alara walked past them without anger or fear. She had no need to seek their approval anymore. She had found a new home in her courage, in her actions, and in her bond with Leo. Outside the settlement, Alara and Leo stood together, looking at the forests of Viralaya bathed in the soft light of the twin suns. The wind carried the familiar scents of flowers and rivers, but Alara felt that she had changed. She was no longer the young alien rejected for being different. She was someone who had discovered her strength, her heart, and the possibilities of the universe. Leo smiled at her. "You were amazing back there. You faced everything with courage. And now, you have shown your people what it means to be strong and true." Alara returned his smile, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. "I have learned that strength is not only in action but in being true to yourself. And I have learned that being seen and valued by someone who understands you can heal even the deepest wounds." She took a deep breath, looking at the horizon. "My past will not control me. My future is mine to choose, and I am ready to discover it." Leo took her hand, holding it firmly. "Then let's continue this journey together. The universe is wide, and there are so many adventures waiting for us." Alara felt hope and excitement fill her heart. For the first time in her life, she knew she was exactly where she belonged. She had faced rejection, danger, and uncertainty, and yet she had emerged stronger, braver, and full of love. With Leo beside her, the galaxy felt full of endless possibilities. As the twin suns set behind the forest, Alara whispered softly to herself, "I am ready. I belong to the universe, and I belong to my own heart." Alara and Leo stood on the deck of his ship, looking out at the stars stretching across the dark sky. The twin suns of Viralaya had set, leaving the forest and rivers below bathed in soft moonlight. Alara felt a sense of peace and excitement she had never known. She had faced rejection, danger, and uncertainty, yet now she stood ready to explore the universe alongside someone who truly understood her. "We have so many worlds to see," Leo said, his voice filled with quiet excitement. "So many adventures waiting for us. Are you ready?" Alara smiled, her silver hair catching the faint glow of the ship's lights. "I am ready. I feel stronger than ever. I know who I am, and I know that being different is a gift, not a curse." Leo nodded, reaching for her hand. "And I will be here with you, every step of the way. Together, we can face anything the universe sends us." The ship lifted gently from Viralaya's surface, gliding above the forests she had once walked alone. As the planet grew smaller beneath them, Alara thought of her people. She had faced them, shown them her strength, and chosen not to be bound by their judgment. She realized that acceptance could come from actions, not from approval. More importantly, she had found someone who valued her for who she truly was. Their first journey took them to a distant star system, where planets of all colors orbited a bright, energetic sun. Alara watched in awe as Leo navigated through asteroid fields and glowing nebulae. The stars seemed closer than ever, each one a new opportunity, each one a promise of discovery. "This is incredible," Alara whispered. "I never imagined the universe could be so vast and beautiful." Leo smiled. "And there is so much more. Every world has its story, its creatures, its wonders. And you will be part of discovering them with me." As they traveled, Alara shared her knowledge of Viralaya's ecosystems, helping Leo understand planets with unique environments. In turn, Leo taught her about human technology, communication systems, and ways to adapt to alien worlds. They laughed when mistakes happened, celebrated small successes, and learned from every challenge. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day. One evening, as they rested on the ship's observation deck, Alara leaned her head on Leo's shoulder. "I never thought I would feel this way again," she admitted softly. "After being rejected by my own kind, I thought I would never feel accepted or loved." Leo held her hand gently. "I am glad you found trust and care again. You deserve to feel loved, Alara. You are brave, intelligent, and kind. And I am grateful to share this journey with you." Alara felt her heart swell with warmth. She realized that love was not about perfection, but about seeing someone for who they truly were. She had been rejected before, but now she had found someone who appreciated her differences, who valued her heart, and who shared her dreams. Days turned into weeks as they traveled from planet to planet. They encountered worlds filled with towering crystal forests, oceans of glowing liquid, and creatures that seemed to defy imagination. Alara's curiosity and courage guided them through challenges, while Leo's ingenuity and patience ensured their safety. Together, they became a team that complemented each other perfectly. One day, while exploring a small, peaceful planet, Alara watched children of an alien species playing near a river. She remembered how she had once felt alone and misunderstood. Now, she felt a quiet joy, knowing that her journey could inspire others to be brave and true to themselves. Leo noticed her thoughtful expression. "You are thinking about your people," he said gently. Alara nodded. "Yes. I hope they can see that being different is not wrong. But even if they do not, I have found my place. I am not alone anymore." Leo smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "You are exactly where you belong." and I am glad to be here with you." As night fell on the small planet, Alara and Leo stood hand in hand under a sky filled with stars. The universe stretched endlessly before them, full of mysteries, wonders, and opportunities. Alara felt a quiet strength and happiness she had never known. She had faced rejection, danger, and uncertainty, and yet she had found courage, love, and purpose. "I am ready for whatever comes next," Alara said softly. "With you by my side, I feel like I can do anything." Leo squeezed her hand. "And we will. Together." The stars shone brightly above them, reflecting the new beginning in their hearts. Alara realized that being different had led her to something extraordinary. She had discovered trust, love, and belonging in a way she could never have imagined. With Leo beside her and the vast universe ahead, Alara felt hope, joy, and excitement fill her being. She knew that their journey had only just begun, and that together, they could face every challenge, discover every wonder, and create a life full of adventure, trust, and love. As the ship lifted off and soared into the endless night, Alara whispered to herself, "This is where I belong. This is where I am meant to be. And the universe is ours to explore." The stars stretched infinitely around them, a promise of adventures, discoveries, and a future where Alara was no longer alone, no longer rejected, and finally loved for who she truly was.